Okay guys, to create our still life today, you're going to need a 12 by 18 piece of white paper. You're going to need a sheet of copy paper. You're going to need scissors and probably a pencil. We will use Sharpie at the end for tracing and adding designs. So to start, everyone at your table is going to take their piece of copy paper and you're going to fold it. Now you can decide if you want to fold it vertically so it makes a long skinny fold, or if you want to fold it horizontally so it makes a shorter, wider rectangle. For my bottle for right now, I'm going to fold it vertically. Now, once you have folded it, if you want to just cut out your bottle shape, you can, or if you would prefer to use a pencil to draw it first, that's fine as well. But you're only going to be drawing half of a bottle. When I draw a bottle, I usually use an oval to create the lip. Then for the neck of the bottle, I just make the neck go down. The body of the bottle, I bring out wider, so almost like a teardrop or circle shape. And at the bottom, I just try to make sure that it ends up flat. And if it helps you to kind of draw a straight line at the bottom so it's flat, you can. Now remember, these can be shaped any way that you want. So if you want something that is short and wider, obviously you would want to fold it into a shorter, wider rectangle. If you want to make something that's more interesting as far as it comes out in different directions, whatever kind of bottle you want is fine. Now, once you have made your bottle, and remember when you make these, if we're trying to cut on the fold to make it symmetrical, you have to make sure you start the bottle drawing on the fold line. And the fold's the part that doesn't come apart, okay? Now, once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my bottle. And what I should end up with is a bottle shape that is exactly symmetrical or even on both sides. Like so. Now, if you mess up, let's say for instance I make my bottle shape and for some reason I don't like the way part of it came out, I think it's too fat, I think it's too thin, I can always fold it back and I can cut off more of the paper. So now I've created a new shape by cutting off a little bit more paper. Okay, so you have to have 7 bottles on your page. That means you're going to trace the bottle 7 times across the paper. It is okay if it goes off the side. That is fine. We do want to make sure that your bottles overlap as you draw them. Now, I'm only going to be drawing 1. You guys have 5 people at your tables, and each of you is drawing a different bottle. So what that means is that you're each going to draw your bottles 1 time. So if this is mine, I get to draw my bottle 1 time on my paper. You might want to trace it with a pencil first and then do Sharpie. And then I can trade bottles with someone else at my table to make a different bottle shape. So for example, let's pretend this is another bottle shape. I'm going to draw that as my second bottle shape. You do want to make sure that the bottles overlap as you trace them. You can draw your bottle more than once. You can draw any bottle more than 1 time. But you do need to draw every bottle that's made at your table. So each person's bottle, you need to share and trace their bottle at least 1 time. So at the end, you're going to have 7 bottles going across your page that overlap. And you are going to have at least 5 different types of bottles. And like I said, mine will look just a little different because I don't have people at my table to share with. So let's go ahead and trace these out and see what I get. As you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bottles on my page. One bottle in the front starts going off the edge of the paper all the way to the other side with my last bottle going off the edge of the paper. Each bottle does overlap because that is where we're going to go from making our primary and secondary colors to the intermediate colors that we talked about. The last step that you have today is just to decorate your bottles by adding designs. Designs are things like shapes and lines. Design does not mean that I am adding little tiny pictures. A pattern is what I want here. So a design pattern. That could be anything that is a line or a shape, but it has to repeat itself. You do want to try to keep from making your designs too complicated. Otherwise, you are going to get confused as we go to do our final works. I did everything in a Sharpie today. Feel free to do it with a pencil and then trace with a Sharpie after. I would recommend using a Sharpie to draw your designs since they are simple as opposed to starting with a pencil. All right, guys, let's get started.